Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first match at the Metroid Fusion 100% tournament. So, a few technical issues that we need to resolve really fast, and then we'll get this going. Alright, good morning once again. Sorry about the delays on that one. We got our layout fixed again. We're going to go ahead and get our runners started pretty fast, so since we're a little bit behind. Let's go.
Let us see what happens.
Alright, so Metroid Fusion 100%. Before we get going, let's do some quick introductions. My name is JC87.
And my name is That's a Spicy Me.
And we're going to talk about Metroid today, so this is the 100% category where we have to get basically every single expansion in the game. The major upgrades don't count in this particular game, so there's actually a total of 100 between E-tanks, missile packs, and power bomb packs. A lot of this category is pretty technical. Overall in Fusion, so one, we got a lot of text that we have to mash through. Unfortunate side effect of this game.
For those of you more familiar with the any percent runs, in the beginning, 100% is actually very similar to that, but around the end of it, they're going to be doing what we call cleanup, which is them getting the rest of the items that are within BSL.
Yes, like the similarities between it's like about 70%, 75% of the route is basically you're going to be doing 80% for the most part up until you get to right before the final boss. There's just a few. It's like for the most part, items are a lot faster to overall to pick up at the very end of the game rather than first chance you can get them. But there are some areas that we don't actually come back to during cleanup, so we will make some side trips along the way, but not that much actually.
Not a lot. Again, for the most part, it's practically identical, just with a few exceptions. And Monkey just pulling ahead. And this is the one thing that kills a lot of Metroid players from Metroid Fusion is the text.
It accounts for a good 20-30 minutes, quite literally.
I know whenever I run this game, every time Adam talks, I turn into a skeleton.
Yep, so one of the runners, they don't have access to the Japanese version of the game, so to keep things fair, we make sure that runners are on the same version.
Yep.
Because it's a little over 3 minutes difference in text speed alone. So
yep. I believe in JP for that one particular text section they were mashing out of, I believe it's 7 text boxes shorter.
Not entire boxes, not 7 entire boxes shorter. On the very first nav room of the game, the Japanese only has 1 box that you cancel through, and the English has 2.
I see. And now more dialogue. There's going to be a lot of that.
But it does give you a nice little breather and a little bit of
It
rest.
really does.
Especially like if you mess up a section like right before that. It gives you that little chance to calm down before having to execute again.
And Monkey getting a missiles at 315, I believe.
Yep, one of the few Metroid games where the first item is not a morph ball.
Indeed.
So our ultra intelligent computer tells us we have a 20% chance to survive this mission now.
How naive this little boy is.
So we have a few quick items to grab before we head on to the first boss that's about to come up.
We're coming up to one of the more complex tricks of the games. This is what we call an I-door double. So basically, a double missile is where you have two missiles hit an enemy on the exact same frame. So we manipulate our movement in a way that allows the missiles to hit an enemy on the same frame, dealing more damage. For the I-doors, it usually takes three missiles to kill it so we can pass through. But with the double trick, it only reduces that to two phases, I'll call it.
Yep, so trying to get double missiles in general is going to be a common theme, like right here on this I-core, right after fighting Arachnus. Just reduces it's more about the not having to wait that extra invulnerability time. Some of the enemies in the games where we try to do the doubles, a lot of them do require to be frame perfect for them to be registered at the exact same time. Some enemies, they do have a one frame tolerance where it can be the frame after as well. There's really not much to talk about this Arachnus fight. You spam missiles and hope he doesn't roll. Then you try to land those doubles. And doing doubles on these core axes is a lot about knowing how
to manipulate the core X.
Yeah, how it actually moves around, how your actions affect how that works. It's just all about luring it into those missiles for yourself.
And it's kind of difficult to explain how the core X moves. It's just one of those things you have to get used to over time.
Yeah, it loosely chases you. I mean, it'll go in your general direction, but it has to follow a specific arc as it does that.
So Monkey's actually going on a little detour to pick up a missile. That's actually a usual thing for any percent, because Sector 1 is heavily about missile management. If you run out of missiles, you will lose time.
And not a whole lot of places to actually grind up on missiles. So during this little cutscene, let's go ahead and talk about the drop system a little bit. So as we kill enemies, you'll see that they can either drop a yellow or a green X fairly commonly. Sometimes you'll see a red X.
But those are specific enemies and very, very low chance. 1 in 1,000, I believe.
Yeah, pretty low. It's not quite a full refill, but it's going to be a massive refill. But anyways, and then red will fill both health, energy, and missiles. Yellow X will only heal energy. Green X will only heal missiles, restore missiles. Red X is also the only way you can actually restore power bombs as well, on top of a recharge station that we're not going to touch during this game. But anyways, Sector 1. So they have a maximum of 25 missiles. The last key thing, so between yellow and green X, if you're full on one thing, between energy and missiles, it's a guaranteed drop of the other thing, if that's not full. And otherwise, it's up to RNG on whether or not you get that missile drop. So, up until we get our next upgrade, our primary source of damage quickly is going to be missiles.
Yep.
So, Sector 1. So we got missile management, and our primary goal in this one is we do have to destroy these 5 stabilizers so we can progress through the game. And that was an amazing cornered room.
That was. Those little hornets give me quite a bit of trouble for any percent. Because as we said before, usually in any percent you would want to have as much health as possible so you can easily replenish it, so you can get all missile drops. But since we're doing Hundo, we actually have the spare missiles. Well, there's hardly need to worry. But still, having as much missiles as possible in this section is good.
Yep, and another big thing is, I mean, sure we can kind of make it through without using some of the missiles, but we need 3 missiles before we get to the next eye door. So, trying getting those refills is pretty critical to not waste any time.
Indeed.
A lot of these other rooms you can, I mean, other than the stabilizers themselves, you can get away without using the missiles as much. And Monkey should be in pretty good shape.
Monkey's
Well,
in very good shape.
it's like,
For two
doesn't
missiles
take
at
too
this
many
point,
missiles.
that is very good.
Yeah, he's not going to use very many missiles on these pirates, and they've even a decent chance. They drop 2x's per
Yep.
kill. So, that allows him to go for doubles for this next side door.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Monkey missed.
It happens.
Very good. Very good, Idor.
Alright, looks like Monkey's going for a horizontal double. Oops, he's just jumping straight in the air from here. Nice.
I mean, it works, it works.
Yep, there's quite a few strats for this charge beam core X. A lot of runners like to stand on that platform and do it safely. What Monkey was trying to do on this particular one is he was trying to get the core to actually be
Spawn near the sweet
destroyed.
spot.
Yeah, we call it the sweet spot. It's like whenever you kill a boss's core, it's like it has to float to a special spot for you to collect its ability. If you
And-
do get it pixel perfect on both the X and the Y, you can grab it as basically immediately.
Yep. And even then, sometimes it's really hard to get it on that sweet spot, like on the dot, because even then, the X from the core X still has sort of a rubber band effect when it moves. So once it gets to it's like if you're off a little bit, it'll get to its sweet spot and then just bounce around a little bit.
Yep, and then that's mainly only true for if you're off diagonally. If you actually get it like the X or the Y correct, it'll actually stop as soon as it gets there. Yep, kind of like what we saw on Guyaverage's
Yep.
side. It's like another good reason why they use that platform is that actually puts the core in a good Y position.
And Monkey clears Sector 1 at 11:45. And now with Sector 1 cleared, he's heading on to Sector 2.
Oh, so at this point in the run, we should have mentioned this after charge beam, but basically you want to follow the mindset of have your charge beam going at all times. Charge beam, it is while it looks like on screen as they're firing and shooting around, that is one giant blob of beam, but it's actually two different parts that does its own damage. And then whenever you release a fully charged shot, if you pay attention close to Samus's cannon, you see this little flare that comes right around it, just arcs right around that. That actually does a little bit of damage as well. So a fully charged shot will do 25. I forget the actual damage values offhand.
I believe the flare does 6 extra damage.
Yeah, the flare itself does 6 extra damage. But the flare itself is actually going to, as well as getting both parts of the charge beam in, it's going to make a huge difference as far as eye doors and a couple bosses. So the whole RNG portion of the eye doors themselves, so they can shoot anywhere from 0 to 4 beams before becoming vulnerable. So we don't have to endure through that as much now, since we can always blunt the eye doors when they're vulnerable now.
So all they need to do is pray to RNGesus for good luck. This room in particular gives me trouble.
Yeah, you have a fairly tight window so you can shoot 2 diagonal missiles to be able to kill those red Zoros without having to stop. So the biggest sources of optimization within this run is when you're trying to move horizontally, you want to stay on the ground as much as possible without moving. It's like if you try to jump over an enemy, you're probably going to lose right around a second each time because whenever you're in the air, without a speed booster that is, you'll be moving at roughly half the speed as if you're just running on the ground.
And I believe even less if you're not flipping.
Which you shouldn't be doing very often, but can happen.
Oh no! Oh, that chart. Pseudo screw attack saved him. Yeah, if you don't make that wall jump in that room that monkey did immediately, that fly will come charging at you.
Yep, Rios are the greatest. So this will be the first major detour from a viable any percent route. It's like we're not going to be coming back to this section anymore after this, so we need to grab all the missile packs and everything while we're here.
Yep. I believe the second is literally blocked off.
I mean, it's still possible to get back here, but you have to go a really, really long way around to get back here. So this sector also introduces these hidden elevator blocks that if you shoot them or bomb them, and it only works with a wave beam if you shoot them, but if you shoot or bomb at certain spots in the ground, these elevators pop up. And we don't have an x-ray or anything in this game, so we actually have to find these the hard way if you don't know where they are casually.
And I believe that was another bit of a turnoff when Fusion was released.
Alright, one more quick item to grab before we finally make our way to the boss. Let's see if Monkey gets this fast strat. What he's trying to do, he's trying to beat that bomb block respawning that's up here.
Oh, and he makes it. So earlier we said that jumping over enemies loses about a second. Yeah, that's kind of a nig. We found a way around that in that room.
Yeah, it's like there is a little bit of a boost whenever you do wall jump, though.
Yep. And that does help.
Alright, guys got his bomb. And getting ready to do his little quick low cleanup. Monkey does not even go for an ouch missile.
So there's a little space in between the ouchie and the, I suppose, the tile there that allows the missile to pass through the ouchie without hitting it and hit the door instead.
It's just for swag. It doesn't actually affect anything. Some places, though, if you use missiles for a strat, it can kind of screw you on accident, but... So, anyways, we're in Zazabi now.
So, this is one of the more RNG factors.
That was a 2 jump already. So you have to endure RNG for 3 different phases really fast. The first one can be 0 to 2 jumps. Second time is 1 to 3. Hold on. Something like that. And the last one is 2 to 4.
2 to 4, or is it 2 to 5?
It's going to be at least... Hold on, 2 to 4, one of those. I forget all the numbers, but... The biggest thing to note is the minimum number of wasted jumps that you have to endure before you can open it. Ooh, shot that last one a little bit too, or that first one a little bit too early.
But a lot of them get more close to the sweet spot.
Yeah. Yes, we use this bar so we can learn how to count.
Oh, guyaverage is not looking so hot.
Blue Zora's out of the way. I wouldn't do that.
Oh no.
But Blue Zoras, they will drop a red X.
They will drop red X 100% of the time. And is Monkey gonna do sex skip is the question. Oh, he is! Oh.
Nope.
Nope. He's just messing around.
Just playing it ultra safe. because
Yeah.
if he dies, it's an 18-minute time loss for him. If he doesn't just quit.
Yep.
With 4 E-tanks, you can mostly reliably do this, what we call sack skip. We don't have to wait for that. You just trigger sacks, you get frozen, get super missiled, and then ideally sack stays facing right for a tiny bit before starting to chase you. Then you can just make it out of the room. We come back to this room later because we have to get back to this bottom section later on. So with some of the later equipment, it's a lot better to you go ahead and hold off on that. So off to Sector 4 now.
And I suppose I should explain why we really don't do sacks for the new people. So the thing about the sacks is it does a lot of damage. Its ice beam deals 200 damage per hit, and touching the sacks deals 400 damage per hit. And since you're Samus's part Metroid, the ice beam freezes you, and if you get hit by the ice beam, you're practically dead.
Do you know that we do get purposely frozen for the sack skip first? But you don't really have any room for extra damage. This is the minimum amount of E-tanks to viably do this skip.
I'm thinking of different sack skips because I'm thinking of the Morph Ball sack skip.
Yeah, for 100%, we get frozen and we just take some damage.
And Monkey moving on to Sector 4.
And guy's got his high jump. I missed the number of high jumps he's got, or wasted jumps he's got.
Yeah, Monkey's just stealing the show.
But there's a few things that can still go wrong on Monkey's side.
Yep.
It's not over yet.
It's never over until it's over.
I'm not sure. It's like our very first Metroid Fusion tournament, though. We had somebody's very first run beat the world record holder at the time.
That's exciting. I mean, the Metroid Marathon I commentated on last, Scotty decided to get another world record.
Yeah.
But again, it's Scotty, so should we really be surprised?
Not anymore, no. None of the quick diversions. Sector 4 is one of the few sectors that we're going to clean up completely within our 2 normal visits in here.
Well, quote-unquote completely, because there's 2 sections to Sector 4.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like... we basically, for the cleanup phase, we're not going to do anything in Sector 4 other than go straight to the next sector. So by the time we leave Sector 4 the second time, we will be completely done.
That missile morph ball thing there is harder to get than it looks.
Yeah. So, game wanted us to climb that ladder, but we decided we can just bomb this in and just climb up and jump across. No big deal.
We have to dip our toes in the water a little bit, but it's a little toasty in there.
No big deal.
And now Monkey is on his way to Ceres. So one thing to note about Ceres, you'll note earlier that we mentioned about the charge and flare for a fully charged shot. We're going to make use of that for the Ceres fight. The thing is, though, Ceres is more of a close range fighter. We have to be more close range in this fight because Ceres has 50 health, and since the fully charged shot does 50 damage, we're gonna have to get real close to Ceres in order to...
It does 26.
26? Oh.
Because we need to get 2 full shots in.
Yep. My bad.
So, some more stuff about Ceres. So we get speed boost for some Ceres. He's completely invulnerable during this time. The first vulnerability shot place is 100% consistency, which is why we hang out to the left. From here, we will have 3 passes of Sarah's being complete invulnerable. Then we hope to get Sarah's in a good spot afterwards. Didn't quite get a clean shot on Sarah, so he has to do an extra shot. And then from here, it's about waiting for Sarah to be in a nice spot. There are some patterns that you'll see that let you know exactly where Ceres is going to be next. Otherwise, you just have to hope for the best.
Yep.
And just like that, we've got a speed booster for Monkey.
Now we go fast.
So the game normally wants you to have a full tiles worth of gap above Samus to be able to do a shine spark. But if you tap A fast enough before Samus hits the ground again, when you're in a 2-tile high gap, Samus will do that speed booster or that shine spark.
Shine spark. Yeah, you're basically repressing A mid-air, which allows you to do the speed boost or the shine spark.
Alright, a couple quick things to do left on this time around in Sector 4, and then we're going to be moving on again. Have a little bit more fun. So, in addition to being able to run ultra fast after a few seconds of running, this allows Samus, so whenever you do a spin jump at it while speed boosting, you don't actually have that momentum loss whenever you do a spin jump. It's going to be important for quite a few things and for another technique that's going to come up much later. But the big thing is we don't lose speed in the air anymore, as long as we are in a speed booster state.
And we're also coming to a little difficult trick too. Oh, like he's not doing it.
He's just gonna have to do it the other way. He just didn't get his store going. So. Oh yeah, it's like that's right.
Oh right. I forgot about that.
You can't feasibly do that with the low height.
Yep.
Or you could, but you'll be losing a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Breaking Fusion is kind of possible, actually.
Yeah.
We do have some memory corruption techniques now.
Oh yeah, that.
But so you can feasibly beat the game right after power bombs. So you do have to wait about 45-50 minutes.
So that crab room Monkey just passed through. I affectionately call it Spank the Crab.
Oh man.
Because you can shine spark that golden crab.
Alright, let's see how guys Sarah's fight goes.
Oh,
Yep,
that's that first shot.
Yeah, that's the position that the beginner's tutorial tells you to go to. A little bit safer right there.
Oh, very nice.
He does get the two cycle, the 2 shot. Yep.
Uh-oh. And for the most part, a pretty good satisfied for a guy.
Yep, it was pretty good. Can only get better from there.
Yep.
He got the 2 cycle. That's all that really matters on that fight.
Yep. Oh no.
Actually, probably would have been slightly better just to actually just bomb those if you fail that
No.
and just destroy the archers along the way. But he wants to practice this trick anyway, so. Oh, he's spin jumping.
Oh yeah, he is.
That's what's going on, because you have to. That makes that a little bit harder. There we
he
go.
goes.
Yep, and then Fusion is a lot more technical game than you think, and it does take a while to learn some of these tricks and get these down pretty well. So he's doing pretty good for himself.
Yep, he's actually doing pretty good. And Monkey clearing the Sector 2 security.
Yeah, just a couple extra items that we're going to grab this time around. That first one right down there that we already saw. Let's see if Monkey gets what's called a shine break. You have a 2-frame window to store a shine spark right after breaking a block with the speed booster.
And he didn't get it. But it's all good. It's a difficult trick to get. Alright, everyone, say hi to Bob.
Now I'll have to skip him this time around.
Yeah, we're gonna need Bob. Bob is one of the better missile tanks.
Unfortunately, we're not allowed to skip Bob, because then that would be 99%. I didn't see how late he stored that data room.
Oh, we got frame perfect!
It's fair. It's not quite frame perfect, but it's fairly tight. But there's some methods to help widen that window.
I call it frame perfect just because how difficult it is to get.
Yeah, it's like it's like if you spark less or store as late as possible. There's some methods so you know when you have control again. But anyways, that pistol pack behind the save room over there is the last extra item that we're going to grab this time around. Let's see how box goes for a monkey.
So far, very good.
And there we go. The box is a scripted fight. He does the exact same thing every single time based on when you damage him. We're not going to grab the items that are in this room right now.
Those will come later.
Yeah, the other reason is the second item in this room requires power bomb, and we have to come through this room much later on in the game, so a lot better to grab that item when you have screw attack.
And Monkey clears Sector 3. And now we move on to Sector 6.
I guess this is a nice little time to go ahead and talk about in-game time for just a touch. So, recently we switched to our leaderboard to be fully RTA only, like the time that you see like right above these game feeds right now. Long before then, it's like before emulation accuracy got up pretty well. We used to go by the time that goes at the very end of the game. It does have some in-game ramifications though, as far as when the in-game timer runs and not. So every time that we hop into these nav rooms for now, we're going to try to store our sparks as we enter those. And then since the in-game timer is not running, neither does our speed boost timer go down. So we have a lot of time to actually get a spark off after each nav room, and just save a tiny bit of time as you leave each sector.
And Guy is now getting to the security room.
Not sure why Monkey did a quick jump there. looks kind of intentional so he doesn't get speed booster.
Well, I mean, we do have to bomb that one tile so we get that missile on the way out.
I mean, you normally want to do a long jump with speed booster on the other side of the room. You still get that. You still get that bomb along the way. So
Fair
that's
enough.
a little bit unexpected on that particular shot.
All right, so Monkey is now in Sector 6, and you'll notice that they have these blue X's. Yeah, don't touch those, because remember, Samus is very vulnerable to cold damage, and that's exactly what those X intend to do. When you absorb them, they deal 80 cold damage to you, so best to avoid them.
Another thing to note about ISX is it does that 8 damage in 2 steps. So if you somehow manage to get boosted through a door after taking the first set of damage, you actually don't take the second set of damage afterwards. Somehow.
And unlike last time where we waited for Sax, we're just gonna poke him in the back there and just run away.
Yep, Power Bomb only does 20 damage to Samus, by the way.
So if you get hit by that, you're fine.
One more quick item to grab, then we'll make our way to our boss.
Uh-oh. Doesn't matter too much though, because we're gonna be refilled. Oh, Monkey's just running in. Right, you don't want to grab the red X's when you're at higher health.
Yes, yeah, 100% stuck. Unless you get really banged up, it's like you're gonna get more than enough of your ammo back from each core X. So this is another fight where we do need to get the fully charged shots as well as a flare in it, so you can get this fight done in 4 shots.
Ooh, Monkey having a very clean fight.
Yep, so he got 2 doubles in a sweet spot for this.
And Guy has cleared box.
Yep, it's pretty. Yep, but it's still pretty good fight. It's like one extra jump, and it's incredibly tight to actually get that fight that Monkey got earlier.
So now that Samus has the Various Suit, those Ice X's no longer deal cold damage, so you'll be able to absorb them for a bit more health if you need it.
And this will also be the last time that the Ice X actually try to chase after Samus. After this room, the first time.
After this room, yeah, the Ice X are set to run away. Flames! Also in Sector 6, we have these enemies known as the Puffers, which are absolutely horrible, and you should hope that they are in a good mood.
Yep, so enemy RNG. Most enemies in this game, the initial position for every single enemy is set. Most enemies afterwards, once the room loads, they can go in one of 2 directions. These puffer enemies, they can go in 4 different directions, and every time you hit them, they emit these little clouds. We dropped another bomb right there so we can pick up an E-tank along on our next trip back here.
Just setting up for later.
Yep, and let's see if... Nope, doesn't go for that spark. Or dismissed it. It's really tight, and I'm not even sure if it actually saves time with that charge up.
Uh-oh. So this text box is basically Adam telling us that, oh, the X can absorb data? How can this be? So now we're going to be moving on to Sector 5, which is the Arctic sector. Now that we have the various suit, we can go there, and we're going to download the ice missile data. There was kind of a thing in a while for Sector 5 where runners would clear the security room in there, but forget to get the ice missiles. So the next event wouldn't trigger, and they were like, wait, why didn't it trigger? And they realized, oh, I forgot ice missiles. and they would have to run back and waste a bit of time. But nowadays, I hardly see it ever forgotten.
That and more and more runners are are more conscious about the different cues before you get all the way down there, because you can actually tell within about 5 seconds if you skipped it or not. And we'll talk about that later on. Meanwhile, guy's making his first trip through Sector 6.
He didn't stun that Ice X. Bit of a bold move.
No big deal.
Yep.
It's fine. We'll reverse the high speed the norm. Yeah, especially with the switch to RTA, we'll never see any strats for, at least especially for races, and for this particular one probably never as well, where you have to store on the frame that you land with the speed booster. It's like, it's just not worth it in RTA. It doesn't save that much time overall, especially with setup time required for it.
And Monkey, thankfully, did not get trolled at that section in Sector 5. Those waivers can be quite annoying.
Yeah, so that room we just lure them a little bit. Yep. Basically, this sector we just do 2 giant loops and we leave.
Yep.
There'll be one extra item that we pick up along the way before we leave, but
Other than that, just get in, get what you need, get out. Oh no, that Caterpillar is fucking guy.
oh well, he can take it. He can take that damage. So a big reason why we see so many E-tanks in this game so early on is Metroid Fusion. Their regular enemies are do a lot more damage than many bosses.
Yep.
It's like even less damage than Nightmare. Like a key hunter, if you get stunned by, takes out more than an E-tank's worth of damage, like 119.
128.
Oh, something like that. Either way, in context of like low percent, it's a one-hit kill. Not even Nightmare can kill you in one hit.
Yep. In lore reason, this is due to the fact that Samus's power suit has lost a lot of its armor, so she's unable to tank most of the hits that come her way anymore. And that's one of the reasons why the Sax is considered so powerful, because it's Samus's armor at full power.
Alright, we have Monkey with Ice Missiles trying to get this extra missile pack.
Something that should be mentioned is that every upgrade you get for your missiles causes it to be slower to shoot, and
The cooldown time is lower, the speed is faster.
Yep. Thank you. So doubles get increasingly more difficult to get.
Another side effect on this particular one, so we now have to revert back to using Charge Beam exclusively so we can get a lot of one-hit kills on these regular enemies, so we don't never stop running. For now, regular enemies are now going to take at minimum 2 missiles to kill every time, because whenever something has a freezing effect, it will always take them at the lowest 1 HP. You will never one-shot kill an enemy again with an ice missile. But that's fine. We're about to see a nice little upgrade. So in this room that Monkey's in, we don't see Nightmare Shadow. We did see Nightmare Shadow, so that means ice missile did not get skipped.
Yep. And this is the point where the meme is spammed.
Alright, anyone that's been here long or seen Metroid Fusion long enough, this is the time we do Emergency and Franker Z. So, we have 6 minutes to stop the base from exploding. Oh, however will we do this?
If only there was a way to get there at the fastest possible time.
Yep, this trip through Sector 3, we don't grab any extra expansions. There's just nothing along the way that we even have access to, so just run as fast as we can to the boss and go from there.
I don't think... Did Guy get ice missiles?
Guy is just now leaving Sector 6.
Oh, Sector 3. I thought he was in Sector 5. Oh. Where's my head at? Winky, you're too good. You're confusing me.
Wasn't quite able to get the perfect fall down on the shaft right on down Monkey's side, but no big deal.
So these ladders right here that Monkey is currently climbing, you want to hold up at those because if you get damaged, Samus will let go of the ladder, and it's going to cause her to fall. So if you hold up, it'll allow her to re-grab the ladder. So you want to make sure to hold up when you're at that section. Oh no. Oh, it worked out.
Yep, a nice thing about ice physics and frozen enemy physics rather is if you're already within an enemy's hitbox when they get frozen, you can just walk right through it, no problem at all.
Alright, the thing about one-shotting enemies, we lied, you can do it to the doors.
He's not an enemy. I think he got that double.
Yep, he got it. Biggest sign is if you see an X flying out of the core X. Is if you miss the double. That strat he did, as far as I know, is pretty consistent.
Yeah, most runners have really high consistency on that one, but sometimes you can occasionally miss still.
Yep.
It just happens. No big deal. So, we've got White Beam now.
The not Spazer Beam.
Nice little damage boost strat, so we can skip a jump and just land on that platform.
Not a lot of damage boosting in Fusion.
Yeah, for the most part, it's like there's not a whole lot of benefit on that one. There's not a whole lot of benefit to do so. But let's just skip an extra jump on that particular case. So let's see how this climb goes.
Very nice. Although he missed the door.
It happens.
Yeah, it does.
King Manuel guy is making his way to level 3 locks for us. Then he needs to grab his ice missile and grab one extra pack. Meanwhile, Monkey has just finished Escape, and he's going to be sent to not our sector this time around. He's being sent to save some random set of animals.
And depending where they are, this could either go very well or very bad. Most likely the very bad option. Oh no, Guy.
Yeah, this particular room that he's in, it's like if you don't do it a proper way and don't do it in decent time, you start having
Problems.
You start having these Rios and not Rios, but these little beams coming from the enemies just become in your way.
And Guy has now just gotten ice missiles, which is good. Oh, he got hit by a Ripper. Oh well. Alright. The room Monkey is coming up to is a little difficult to
Let's see
manage.
what strat it goes for.
Oh, wow.
I like that modified stretchy climb. It's pretty nice.
That is very nice. Is he gonna... Oh, we got it.
Yep. So it's a little bit more lenient to get that shine break, or get a store after breaking the speed booster blocks in this particular room, since there's some non-speed booster blocks after them. So instead of the 2-frame window that we get for Sector 3 when we did that earlier, we actually get up to 4 frames, sometimes up to 6, depending on your actual positioning.
And Monkey's gonna take a slight detour here to get a missile.
Now, one quick detour before we go back to Sector 5, just to get another...
There's some more stuff that'll be handy for the run.
It's also worth noting that if we really wanted to, they could get this missile. They could have gotten a Parabomb expansion already, with some complicated set of shine sparks chains. But even if you manage to get an expansion early, the game doesn't let you use them until the game gives it to you.
Yep.
And we do have Guy's emergency going.
Yep. All personnel, please report to Franker Z to attend to emergency.
Oh, that was a nice spring ball to unmorph a monkey right there. Didn't
That
even leave
was.
the ground.
And that monkey is on his way to power bombs. Although this trip to Sector 5 is going to be a little different.
Yep, we still don't get to find another boss spot. We're basically gonna be cleaning out this portion of Sector 5 this time around now. There's a whole other portion that we still have to yet to see that until something else happens later on.
Yep.
But for the most part, this left-hand side of Sector 5 is gonna be mostly cleared, with an exception of, well, the bottom left portion rather.
Yep.
Everything else will come back maybe 30 minutes later. Not quite that long, but...
If I recall correctly, that red door in the ice portion is not a real door.
Correct, there's actually no trigger there even if you manage to clip past it. This one right there. But we do spark through it later on, but there's no actual trigger there when the room is in that particular state.
Oh no, Guy.
So, Monkey's got power bombs. And you don't have a whole lot of opportunities to heal power bomb, so it's going to be used fairly sparingly overall. So there's a little bit of management needed for that one. And another thing that's also worth noting is, whenever a power bomb is going, Samus cannot hold onto her ledge. There's just too much vibration, so she just falls. But anyways, we have, looks like a Sax encounter. You never see Sax. If Monkey moves well, not even worry about that ice beam. He needs to drop that power bomb pretty high because there's another section that we need to climb up to. It's up here. Anyways, guy's got his wide beam.
And now he's moving on his way to animals.
You also, and while we're going, guys, going through this climb on Sector 3, it's worth interesting. It's worth mentioning that whenever we see these different states, like, oh, this room that monkey's in, it's like next time we see this room per se, it's actually a completely different room in memory. It's like how the game tracks like which room to go to load based on the state. It doesn't actually change this room itself based on the flags. So when we see like the water states of this giant room later on, we're actually in a different room in memory. Is why we see a trigger, why that other trigger works much later on. For examples, like in this room that guy is in right now, if you manage to skip, Bob will always be gone when you come back to this room, for whatever, since it doesn't exist in the new version of that room.
Yep.
But yep, so pretty uneventful Sector 5, other than some falling with some crumbles, but not much going on here, so we're done. Computers are gonna say, hey, come see me.
Although things are going to happen at this point.
Alright, well, I am screenshotting your message for a future reference.
So this is the beginning of beginning of the blackout phase.
Quick item that we need to grab before we move on to the next room. And he had to wait a little bit to drop the power bomb rather than dropping it first frame. Because this is actually a little bomb chain, and sometimes behavior with these bomb block chains and power bombs kind of throw things off.
Yeah. On 80%, that room's a pain to deal with, but on Hundo, since we don't really need the speed boost, it's not as stressful.
Yep, and then RTA is a tiny bit faster actually to grab that power bomb or that missile pack anyways in 80%. It's a little bit faster than, say, an elevator missile since you don't have that backtracking motion to do.
Very nice,
Oh look, we have Attercoons. And Decora. Guy gets his spark off there.
Very nice.
Now, Funky's in a nice little boss gauntlet section of this game. We're going to see 3 bosses almost back to back in a fairly short amount of time.
Something interesting about that E-Tank is it is actually possible to jump over it for 0%. Although it is, I believe, quite difficult to do so.
Nowhere near frame perfect. You've got a bit of time. You've got a bit of leeway. I mean, it's by no means free, but
Yeah.
it's not too bad.
And now Monkey is coming up to the main reason why spooters must be purged from the universe.
Yep, you just gotta scroll the screen a little bit so you can actually damage Yakuza before the fight starts. Basically, as he's charging up to release fire, The flames, he has his mouth open, which is the only time you can damage in this phase. From here, it can be up to 4 times before he opens his mouth again to start damaging him. Then as long as you wiggle out of it fast enough, it saves time to get grabbed first.
Yep.
And then, so that was a 4 cycle Yakuza for phase 1. And then from here, it's just tracking space jump Yakuza as much as you can, and keep spamming missiles. So that was pretty well handled, and a nice starting
That
double.
was very good.
2 doubles. And triple. Very nice fight.
Indeed. And now Monkey gets the space jump, which causes you to lose your ability to wall jump. Alas. Wall jump is one of my more favorite mechanics in the game.
Okay, so we've got one quick item to grab really fast along the way to Nethereye. And then it's a much more fun fighting, 100%. You don't have to do any charge shots at all. You'll still do one at the very start because you have some falling time to charge with, but other than that, we could do mash beat effectively.
And for those of you who are Toho fans, Nettori, not Nitori.
Hooray, monkey! Didn't get the trigger yet. Now he's gonna wait a tiny bit, and now we're good.
Yep. So in the Metro Marathon, he could not get these missile blocks. Let's see if he does better. Oh, much better.
Just one missile block. You tried to do a quick little clip there. It actually only works in the English version of the game. All these clipping around and stuff.
Which is why memory corruption is done in English.
Correct. And even if we could clip around, we would still have to find a different spot to do it. Or likely would have to find another spot to do that. Just because the memory, where each thing is stored in memory, is quite a bit different from Japanese to English. There's some similarities as far as patterns, but exact spots are different.
And now Monkey is on his way to... Or, well, he's now at Nethereye. The interesting thing about Nethereye is power bombs actually damage this phase of it. Although, since we have all these missiles, we're not really going to need them.
Yep, takes 48 missiles from the time you start to the time he goes down. And then 5 missiles to the core. We got 1 double so far. So he's just gonna look at yeah, just gonna lure the sweet spot right there to get plasma beam. But yeah, that particular clip, if you get it, it'll be quite a bit faster. Since you do have to go to that same room again in order for much later in the game during cleanup.
Yep. So, one thing about plasma beam that should be noted, especially for later bosses, is that plasma beam does damage per frame it's touching an enemy.
Yep, and the initial damage is lower for plasma beam than wide beam as well. There are some enemies that block the per frame of damage, so you only do 1 frame of damage. So like if you had a choice to not have plasma beam for say Nightmare, you'd actually do more damage with wide beam than plasma beam on the second phase, after the gravity phase. That is.
So we never usually see this room in any percent.
Yep. There's 2 different viable. Actually, I don't know what Monkey's cleanup route is, but there's a cleanup route where Well, you have the option to grab that missile pack now or wait till the end of Sector 1 cleanup and grab that really fast, then run back around.
And now we're moving on to Sector 5 again, as things are not going quite so well. And Guy is currently out of his way with power pumps, although he didn't do the bottom block route, which I don't blame him for. I usually forget about that too.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to every little thing.
Oh, he got hit.
So we're gonna have a little bit of a high five in Sector 5.
And high five.
I imagine Monkey is probably going to do normal Nightmare Spark from right here.
Let's see.
Yep. So this particular room, so if you're talking about door transitions, jumping out of that recharge room saves a bit of time RTA as far as screen transition. But you'd have to go for Nightmare Speed Boost, which you would take all the way to this room. So you'll be able to actually keep your speed booster going while space jumping the entire time. We call that space boosting. And go right here. So we're not going to come back to this little section of Sector 5 again, so we have to clean up everything now. Even though it's a little bit harder to move without the gravity yet, but we'll see that soon enough. A few well-placed shots that lets us take care of all these space powers without stopping.
Plasma beam is quite the useful weapon.
And Guy's almost on his way to... He's almost all the way back to Yak is almost back to the ship first.
Oh, he didn't place a power bomb.
You just have to wait a little bit, no big deal.
Yeah. And now Monkey is on his way to Nightmare.
Yep. Nice little unmorph at the end, so you don't have to do this little bomb section to get that. So, Nightmare. Plasma beam takes, and a missile takes care of the first two phases really fast. You just have to jump towards Nightmare a little bit so to make sure that missile actually hits. Then some 30-something missiles takes care of this phase, but we do have to wait to get beat up a little bit. And so we can stop again and finish this off. Oh, down just a little bit too.
It was just one more missile, so.
Yeah, but it's still a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
Let's see if we get those, miss that initial double. It's a little bit tough, so we got that one double right there. Two doubles, so we just got to get that sweet spot and call it good to get gravity.
A little off, but it's all good.
Yeah, no. Now we are free to run around in lava and water, and now lava does not hurt us. And absolutely needed so we can get the speed booster so we can actually escape. One quick item that we need to grab before leaving the sector. So we're gonna break 2 speed booster blocks in store, and go up here, grab our power bomb, and then continue our way over to Sector 4.
And Guy is now currently fighting Yakuza. Oh, you got a one face. Very nice.
Alright, so this trip through Sector 4, we are going to completely clean up this time around. We're going to grab every single item as we get by and make a few quick detours along the way.
Guy seems to be having a little trouble with Yakuza.
This fight is no joke, extremely difficult to learn. There's a ton of intricacies that you have to get used to for it to become extremely effective at this fight.
I see guys certainly taking it safe, which is a good thing to do. Especially with Yakuza. As I said before, he is living proof that all spooters need to be purged from the universe.
Alright, so we have level 4 locks now for Monkey. This basically lets us open every single door in the game as long as Adam doesn't lock it, or the computer rather.
Guy now on his way to Sector 2. Again, let's see how he handles the sacks. Unfortunately, he triggered it. But no biggie. Just gotta remember to freeze him.
It's completely impossible to actually have a triggerless sacks right there. It's like no matter what, you're recognized as soon as you're in the next room.
Yep.
Especially with the power bomb that you drop. Alright, Monkey has a really tough strat that's coming up very soon. It's going to start right here with getting a speed booster, and then getting a charge, and then sparking that right spot so you can try to continue your deal, and try to have enough time to get this spark back over to the slope, and then unmorph a spark up. Very nicely done.
Very nice. Guy's wasn't quite standing on that nice spot for Nettery.
Okay, he gets it. He gets that part taken care of. And just like that, Monkey gets diffusion missiles. No actual damage added to this time around to the shot. It just allows you to charge your missiles now, and I mean these little ice flakes that come out around. So before we leave Sector 4, we have a couple items that we need to grab. First one's right here. Use a power bomb here to get rid of nothing. Now we need to go back to the main section of Sector 4 again and grab this item that we couldn't grab earlier. Yeah, because this particular item actually requires a power bomb to grab.
Yep.
But just like that, we have completed the cleanup for Sector 4. Next time we see Sector 4, we're just going to take a quick hop. Yeah. It's like the connecting rooms that take Sector 4 to the two other sectors. It's the same room. It's the room with that tall vertical shaft with the not the puffers. But it's that really tall room right after that difficult spark. So, and all the items are so far away from that, so we do it that way.
And now we are on our way to box. Once again. And now Guy's on his way to Nightmare.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets that Nightmare Spark. Alright, a few items to grab along the way to box 2 on Monkey's side. One of them that we set up for as we left last time. Yeah, so whenever we have these little bomb sections, since bombs take notoriously long to detonate, if we're going to be coming right back through an area, it's a lot better just bomb along the way out, and then when you come back to grab it.
Since the styles just respawn, it's a lot faster.
With our fancy power bombs, we go open up another section of this sector. We're not going to do much other than fight a boss in here. It's a lot better to grab some of the stuff later on once we have our screw attack. Come here just so we can trigger the next event, which in turn tosses a monstrous looking box fight. He ran away and got some new abilities last time we saw Box.
He has some new toys that he wants to show Samus.
So this time around, you actually do have to move around so you don't get hurt by Box, because you will get knocked off the ladders this time around. That was a really clean fight.
That was a very clean fight. One thing that also should be noted, that the water is also electrical, so you don't want to be knocked out from that ladder.
But otherwise, it doesn't do too much damage. The thing to be more worried about is actually getting hit by this wave beam coming out of him.
Yep. If we are on 80%, but since this is Hondo, just tank hits, in a sense, I guess.
So now we've got a wave beam. We can shoot the walls.
Which will allow us to enter the restricted section to activate the next event. So let's see how Monkey does on that. Meanwhile, on Guy's side, seems to be having no issue.
Almost Nightmare side. So we finally see the first Metroids of this Metroid game. And we're going to destroy them all.
Well, you'll see what happens.
Yep, ruthlessly get rid of them all, along with the sacks. Alright, guys, starting Nightmare fights. Very soon. Oh, shot just a tiny bit too late, so we couldn't get the missile to trigger it immediately. But got the second phase taken care of. Now just gets to hang out on that ladder. Meanwhile, Monkey gets yelled at a computer, and then we find out there's actually 5 million. Okay, only at least 10, but still.
Still, it may as well be 5 million.
Having a little bit of trouble trying to get Nightmare to stop.
There he goes. Although he's a little high.
Just drop down to the floor a little bit, and it'll come down. Yeah, I think when I first learned this run, I probably spent a solid 2 days on this fight alone to learn all the ins and outs. But this will be good enough to get Nightmare stop this time around.
As long as he doesn't get hit by the Korax, he should be fine.
And then he's got hits he can tank. Alright, so we're back in Sector 1 now on Monkey's side. We got a few items to grab before we see a boss. And then after that, we will officially be in cleanup. So another thing with frozen enemies, we can spin jump through them. Just like that, no big deal. And Guy's got his gravity suit. Quick item to grab down here on Monkey's side before he goes up. This time he has to make sure he doesn't grab an X in here.
That would be bad.
And preferably not have a random deal where the X decides not to spawn, which can sometimes happen.
So those golden pirates you just saw, usually you want to be facing behind them, but the game isn't checking if you're behind them, it's checking if you're facing the opposite direction of them. So if you shoot them and just quickly turn around, you'll be able to damage them.
I mean, it is checking if you're behind them. It just uses the logic is if you're facing the same direction, that means you're behind them.
I see.
Just a tiny bit of flawed logic, but no big deal.
No big deal.
Ooh, Zero being for his last eye door for the fight.
Very good eye door luck.
So now we get Ridley. He's
A
fine.
quick disclaimer, if you value your ears, please turn down the volume during this boss fight. Once the boss fight ends, you may resume turning up your volume.
Anyways, so this version of Ridley, he does not block the plasma beam, so the biggest idea is trying to do as much diagonal shots as possible, since that would be the longest path through the hitbox to maximize frames. That's gonna be doing damage. So, really nice fight. Diffusion missiles and double are extremely hard, so
Yep.
with as much cooldown and as much speed as it actually has. Alright, so we've got Screw Attack, and we are destroying all the Rippers this time. But now we are in cleanup. We get to... This gives us access to all the little connections within each sector that lets us loop around each sector without touching any elevators. But first, we're going to clean up Sector 1 really fast. This is going to take us to the bottom portion of that. We are going to see Charge Beam first. We're going to hop back to Charge Beam area first. After we do this... Oh yeah, but acid still hurts us. Lava doesn't. It's like my guess for the whole power bombing, dropping ledges is, oh, there's too much vibrations and the power grip isn't powerful enough. Yep, this room's a tiny bit faster with, well, the first time we went to this sector, you'd have to wait for the door to open after destroying a stabilizer. But we have enough room to get a spark up here, so that's fun. Once we get to the other side of this, we do have to enter the save room so we can get enough distance to get a speed booster and clean up another section.
This area was fun to figure out for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh, Monkey did not get his speed boost.
Yeah, there's just enough room to barely get it if you store right at the edge, but sometimes it's just a lot safer just to enter the save room anyways. Now he's going to have to go back into this room, get one more speed booster stored, so we can get something going in, because there's an actual expansion hidden in this boss room as well.
Up we go!
We saved this one for cleanup because there's 3 missile blocks there, but diffusion missiles will destroy every single one of those in one shot. On top of the fact that we don't have to get slowed down by water.
Yep. Like we said, any of the expansions that we quote unquote missed in Sector 1 or any of the other sectors, we come back due to the fact that it's just much faster to get them with all the upgrades.
Yep, space jump is a lot faster than wall jumping. You don't have that, hey, I'm getting ready to start wall jumping again animation that stops you for a little bit. And then we also have high jump that makes that even better.
Yep.
Now, 2 more items in Sector 1 and then we'll be done with, well, 3 more items rather. 2 in this section and 1 towards the main elevator, but so we're going to have a little bit of a backtrack, but no big deal. Well, forget there's 3 items in this room, not 2. But there's 1 more item after this.
Guy just getting diffusion missiles.
Then he'll be making his way over to Sector 6 really fast afterwards. Yep, and then since Monkey already did grab the Kago missile in Sector 2, he doesn't have to go to the right where Sector 2 is, so he'll just fall back down, go left, and back to that lava room he left earlier. And we'll be heading to Sector 3.
Just to pick up a couple items.
More than a couple items. We got a lot of items in here.
Very fun.
Yeah, we're going to be making a giant loop through this sector again. But having screw attack here, let's just pick that up faster, as well as take advantage of the item acquisition. This doesn't stop in-game time. In-game time actually goes during the pickup thing. That also makes the power bomb counter go down.
I believe in-game counter is going as long as Samus is on screen.
More or less. This will be the one use of an actual mid-air bomb jump in this game, since we've already talked about the fact that while power bomb is going on, we cannot grab a ledge. But how bomb jumping in the air works is it has to go off when Samus has 0 velocity. So you can't really infinite bomb jump in an RTA setting. There's another couple items that Monkey's going to grab along the way back up. But he just needs to enter this little room, grab a couple items, and fall back down.
Guy now, just now entering Sector 6. Didn't quite miss the bounce.
Alright, so we gotta enter this little section in the emergency part of things. We needed power bombs, so as well as gravity suits, so we can hop down below the stretchy and get a ton of items.
Yep. One thing I don't think we ever mentioned is the fact that we unmorph and then morph again close to the ground when we're in Morph Ball. That's due to the fact that it costs a little frames when falling from a high distance in a Morph Ball because Samus bounces. So we do that to prevent the bounce from happening.
Okay, some more ladder jumps on Monkey's side. And we'll be back into this main hub. And then we're going to exit to the left this time around. And hopefully he gets his sparks saved up pretty well. There we go.
Very nice.
One more quick item, and then we'll be done with, or one more quick item after this, and then we'll be done with the sector. spaceship lets us skip a nice puzzle. We have to find hidden elevators.
Guy now at fighting box 2. Box number 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Alright, so Monkey is now in Sector 5 again.
Oof.
We're in the top middle-ish part of the sector. But since we've got all the lower stuff and all the right stuff, hand side stuff done, we'll be done here. Try to get a few quick items really here. We did have access to this, but we're just going to try to do a quick spark instead over here. And get 2 items. That speed booster is needed, so we can actually get that. And with Screw Attack, it's a lot faster to grab this missile now, since Screw Attack does destroy bomb blocks. One quick item before we make our way over to Sector 6. Just jump through the floor here, and then moving on.
And Guy has now made it to the restricted sector. I always found that little thing weird where if you're like in a certain position and go to the door, you just see it stretch for miles.
Yeah, Monkey's opting not to do the speed, the space jump strat, since he jumped a little bit too early, so he just uses that as a backup. Yeah, really nice and consistent to do it that way as a backup.
Very nice.
Now we need to make a quick trip over to restricted sector.
And now it's Guy's turn to be yelled at by a computer.
Yeah, poor guy.
Come on, I'm giving Guy a break.
Yep, so Monkey needs to get a speed booster really fast, and then as he enters the next room, he wants to jump soon enough to break these blocks so he can just space jump straight up. It's important to note that if you spark all the way up, you'll be kind of stuck and have to find your long way back here. Because you don't have a way back down to complete the sector. So, going back to boxes area again to grab a couple items, and then we get to do some more puzzle sections.
Yeah, this is basically the exploration section of the game.
Yep, drop that power bomb just to get rid of those ouches. We do have a tight jump in order to get this power bomb. Gets it first try.
First try.
Alright, let's see if Monkey goes for... Yep, he's going for the base boost. Looks like, hopefully.
Ooh. Very nice.
Nicely done. So just a few places he needs to shoot really fast or bomb, just to make sure the correct platforms get spawned. If you bomb or shoot the wrong spots with this wave beam, you'll actually get some elevators, platforms that spawn up on the floor, so you can't get that speed boost and you have to respawn the room. But we know what we're doing.
Yep.
Some more fake expansion packs that turn into little bat thingies. And guy's about to start his Ridley fight.
Let's see how well he does on that. Once again, be sure you got a good volume for this fight.
We should be on Monkey's audio.
Okay. Then he'll be fine. Unless Neo really finds a way.
Oh, and just like that, we're done with Sector 6 already. Sector 4, we're just going to hop through for just a tiny bit, and then we'll make our way to Sector 2 and call it good.
Pretty solid really fight for a guy.
So the big reason that we do it in this particular order right here is we do get to skip an elevator at the end of the sector. Because remember earlier, so when we finished fighting Yakuza, our way into Sector 2 was in a nice little area from there. So Monkey making his way through Crumble City.
And Monkey now has all the E-tanks. And now it's Guy's turn to start cleanup.
Alright, time for a Monkey to make it over to the right hand side of Sector 2. A little bit faster to escape out of this section when you have power bombs. So we save this here, and it's along the way back to where we need to go.
Uh-oh.
Doesn't quite get that strat, but no big deal. There we go. Second try. No big. Couple quick items here.
And since we have the gravity suit, it's much easier for us to grab this missile pack over there. Alright, guys, making his way to that boss room spark he needs to do.
Yep, and Monkey's making his way back to the Zazabi boss room. We have a nice little, another couple items hidden in that little area.
Oh no, Guy lost the spark.
Yep, and unfortunately the only place to get the spark is down here, so a few extra transitions in order to do this. Fairly simple spark chain that Monkey has to do on this side. Gonna hopefully go for a shine break at the end. Fortunately, doesn't get it, so he has to get another speed booster so he can spark on this side.
Yep.
And cleanup is almost done on Monkey's side. Just a couple more items, or let's see. Pretty sure he's got Sector 2 cleaned up already. Should be heading towards the exit. That's going to take us back to the
main deck.
Yeah, it's going to take us to the generator area, and then one quick item to grab before we move on to Sax.
The climactic battle awaits.
But since we destroyed Metroid a long time ago, we don't have all those vines blocking everything anymore.
Although you can certainly still see the remnants.
So elevators are kind of slow in Fusion, so this particular route lets us skip an extra elevator from, actually, let's just skip 2 elevators rather, since we don't have to hit the little hub of elevators before coming back to main deck. Well, Power Bomb here lets us skip around right here and escape. And now we've got 100% on, should be 100%. Yeah, that looks good. I know he's got full missiles. Now all Monkey had to do to cement his victory is not accidentally softlock on sacks.
Yep.
Yep, so this is the variation that we were kind of mentioned to you as far as little options you have on this route for personal preferences. After cleaning up Sector 1, you can just head right really fast from this power bomb, and then this takes you to the other side of Kagos. And then otherwise it'll be fairly similar to what Monkey did on his cleanup.
The dialogue.
Yep, the only thing that could really infeasibly go wrong on Monkey's side to customize this race is if on phase 2 of Sax he kills Sax, the frame it starts turning around, because then you won't be able to hurt anymore.
Yep.
I don't think death by Omega is feasible at Monkey's level. In 100%.
For the most part, he should be good, so long as that one chance doesn't happen. It would be funny if it happened after we said it. Monkey, if we jinx you, we're sorry.
I'm not.
Okay. I like Monkey, so I am sorry.
Alright, so after our several minutes of text at the end, right here, we get to finally go up, hit an elevator to fight Sax.
Oh no, guy lost the spark.
At least for this time around, he'll be able to store a lot later.
Yep.
So ordinarily, Sax is supposed to break out every time you hit it, but if we freeze it first, then we can do multiple frames worth of damage at a time. Alright.
Very nice fight for Monkey.
Yep, and then 3 quick doubles, and we should be good. And it'll release for us the Ice Beam. But no, it runs away.
This one is Smurter.
Yep, so Monkey did get that triple double on Ice Beam Core X. And pretty close to Sweet Spot.
As it just ran away immediately.
Now, he still has the most important trick of the game left.
Yep.
Which is a
Pogo.
low. Okay, second most important. But before that, the low high that takes us all the way to Omega. Well, it's actually an either or thing. Well, either or thing. I don't think you can do both. Because you need to store a spark to get that pogo.
Yeah. Although there is a way to get it without the low height. It's just really difficult.
And he's got it.
That is very good.
That one you don't really have any. You don't have enough time to try to do a setup like a little bounce setup that some people might use in like Sector 4's low height. So that one is you hit A at the right time. So we learned that X a long time ago that X and Metroids are mortal enemies. So X now have a way to, or Metroids like to eat X, and X learned how to copy abilities so they can actually attack a Metroid. But it didn't work out still.
Yeah.
And now we defeated him. And Monkey is now done as soon as we face right now at 145.27. And on SRL 145.28. And we'll see if he wants to hop in with us for an interview. Meanwhile, we have Guy who is going through Sector 5 cleanup now.
So far, so good. Now on the way to Sector 6. Not quite. There he goes. There he be.
Whoa.
Very clean run you did there, Monkey.
Good job, Monkey.
Thank you.
So tell me about this RTA thing, strat idea at the beginning of first trip to Sector 6, what that jump will actually do, compared to not having that long speed booster jump.
I think it just saves time in the door transition, but you just land earlier and I think you get more of a speed boost going towards the first barrier.
Okay. I'll have to look at that one more in depth later on. Oh yeah, I need to get some transition or get some protections done or turn those off.
Their time 108 for Monkey.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh,
Alright, Monkey confirmed not disqualified for skipping items on us this time.
I was legit waiting for a lower percent.
So, next round you get to fight either Jeff or Polesmore.
I'm not looking forward to that one.
What things are you going to be focusing on as you prepare for that?
You know, I honestly don't know. I don't know, I need to play the game more.
Yeah, that kind of helps sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yep, and then
Uh-oh, watch out for the Hachi. Oh. Oof.
yeah, I forget what the actual frame window is to jump off these tremble blocks. It's not exactly frame perfect.
Oh, you got it. That was rough.
Yeah, Sector 6 has a lot of the more difficult jumps to get items.
So, Monkey, compared to your other runs, how did that one go?
Oh, jump. Okay, so actually Crumbles is actually a frame perfect jump.
I don't know. That was surprisingly one of the better runs I've done in the last week or so. There was definitely some good stuff there.
Yeah, you had a lot of clean fights and pretty good eye-door luck for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, RNG wasn't awful. I got a 4-round in 11 jump. So, I mean, that's pretty bad, but the eye doors weren't that bad.
Yeah. Good job on trying to go for that clip, and then without a pause buffer, right after Yakuza.
Yeah, I got it like first try, like right before the race, and I just kind of blanked on what to do when I was actually doing it. But it's like only like barely faster for Hundo anyways, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but then once we get into the later rounds, we're likely going to have the runners all on Japanese. You can't really do it anyways.
Yeah, which I'm fine with that. I'll gladly take the last text for in exchange for that.
Alright. Guys should be done with Sector 6 cleanup now. Home field advantage.
Now moving on with a leisurely stroll through Sector 4.
Yep. Let's see, somebody had guys PB earlier pulled up. I don't think I saw that when I did the seating stuff.
I think he said it was like 208 or something.
Let's see how close we are. It looks like it might be possible to still see a PB. We'll see. Oh,
Ooh. Oh no. Hey,
Yeah.
second try.
yeah, that's pretty good. Space jumping in can be a tiny bit tricky in this game. You just have to get really used to the timing. You don't have too much of a frame window to get those space jumps off, depending on how big of a space jump you do each time. Trying to remember if there's anything else that was noteworthy that we should ask Monkey about on this run. I saw some upset people about your Sector 3 route, cleanup route.
You know, I don't know. I've been meaning to look into that, and I just completely forgot about it today. So it saves like a second, but I think it's actually easier than what I do. So it's a good thing to check out.
Yeah, but other than that, just the only other real main time save we can try is fixing all those door transitions.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big thing that I need to look into. That's a big chunk of time save. It's just there's a lot of stuff to remember.
Oh, poor guy.
I don't think we told him about the easy backup strat.
Oh, this is... Oh.
There is a...
Oh, there we go.
There we go. He does get it. That's good. There is a nice little beginner strat where you can use diffusion missiles, and I think that's actually the intended way to do that. To freeze those rippers, and you can just use morph ball and fit underneath.
And... I believe this is the last bit of Sector 2 he needs to do.
He has this, and then the Zazabi section.
That's right, Zazabi.
Then, as far as I can tell, he should have every other item. We'll find out soon enough on missiles.
Alright, let's see how he does. Oh.
Yep, and the thing that's brutal in this section is if you don't get that charge or you get an accidental bonk, you have to start the almost the entire room over again.
Ooh, you managed to get the crumble blocks on the way out.
Yep, ideally you would try to hit that slope and hopefully shine break. You have just enough time to barely make it to this missile pack again after a shine break at the very top. Anyways, that should be the end of Sector 2. Just make our way back over to main deck from there. Just gonna go ahead and do a quick... Oh, thought he was gonna try to do a quick check through the sec and make sure he got everything, but I don't think he was on a New Game Plus file anyways. But there's absolutely no shames, like especially once you're nearer to the 100% run, it is to check your map as you go through, make sure you got everything when you're supposed to have everything. So no shame in that while you get used to this run.
Especially if you have a really good run and want to make sure that, okay, do I have everything? It's been such a good run. Because that feeling of just, what would you call it?
I'm saving too much time. Did I do something wrong?
Yeah, that.
Yep. Yeah, his missile his missile count looks good.
Yep.
And should be good on power bombs. So that should be item 100. Get a few minutes of Resident Sleeper. And then a lot of fun for the rest of the game.
Yep.
I'm curious to see what SAX strat guy goes for. The strat that Monkey did, it takes quite a bit of practice to get used to that. Get used to the motion because the frame window in which to pull it off is fairly tight. A few frames.
Yep.
Because you have to basically release charge. You want to start charging beam as soon as you fire a missile, and you basically want to release charge beam as soon as it's ready. Otherwise, you will either have SAX breakout or you just completely miss. So there's a variation where somebody just stands on the ground and then just shoots straight across the entire time and not worry about coordinating the jump. It will cause a few extra shots to be needed, since it'll be a much smaller path through SAX's entire hitbox. Or you can do it the game intended way of shoot and dodge.
Although that one, I imagine, takes quite a while, considering after every time you shoot the sax, he will immediately counter with a screw attack.
Yep, it'll only do 1 frame of damage, maybe 2. I'm pretty sure only 1 frame of damage each time that way. Alright. Just in time to hop into this elevator. So, let's get this going for Guy.
Yep. I'm actually hoping for him to PB on this.
Yeah, it looks like it should be possible.
Looking very possible.
Yep. Okay. we'll have a better idea once he finishes the fight itself.
Yep.
Yep, the freeze strat is pretty tight, so just might need to learn that one, or spend forever working on that. But it's definitely a very hard fight to learn if you're just starting out.
Oh.
There we go.
There he goes.
Screw attack is pretty OP in this game, by the way. You can just screw attack through the ice beam in. No damage done.
That's probably why they saved it for last.
Yeah, basically the only thing that breaks Samus had a screw attack is the SAX's screw attack. Oh, and Omega. You can't screw attack through Omega, unfortunately.
But you're just meant to take damage in that fight anyway, so it was most likely intentional.
Yeah, this should... Yep, as long as nothing bad happens.
Should be the PB.
I think so. I love it. Getting up there. Getting up there.
I'm actually getting nervous for this guy.
That'll be fine. I mean, it's like if the 210 is accurate, it's either he PBs or he dies. And then since you do get that full heal at the very end, right before, so no big deal.
Didn't quite get low height.
Yep, it's really tight. You have to do it last frame before you land. Alright. Just a little bit of time. One final cutscene before the end of this. And let's see if Guy is able to get the quick kill on this stun lock.
Oh.
This is fine. You can take a lot of hits. Okay, back up now. No big deal. Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be...
Hey! And game ended 207:36.
GG. Let's see if he wants to hop in for that interview as well. We'll see if we can get him in, so looks like a nice PB for him.
I may have been wrong in remembering his PB.
We'll ask.
Yep.
Nope, and then he's opting not to hop in for an interview. Alright, so guyaverage has opted not to hop in for an interview, so let's take a quick look and see what's going on in SpeedGaming. Looks like we just have some Link to the Past in the afternoon. We do have Super Metroid Randomizer League coming up at 7. We got some Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, and a lot of just typical weekly or daily races that are coming up. So, fairly light day today, so thanks everyone for hopping by, and hope you guys have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Any final words from you, Monkey?
Not that I can think of.
Alrighty. So, see y'all next mission.